and welcome back to the 7th episode of GDF Diaries. I can't believe it's the 7th. Today we are with the beautiful Jennifer. I've known Jennifer for I don't know how many years. Like, well, she's my sister's best friend.
Yeah, so probably like 2012.
Yeah, so that's a long time.
2012.
But yeah, so she's like basically my sister as well.
Literally.
So, but obviously I know you, they don't know you. So can you just tell us a bit about yourself? How old are you? What do you do?
So I'm 28. My name is Jennifer, as Jackie said. I work in HR, so I'm actually a divisional HR advisor. I support and I advise and also coach about 45 to 50 care and education services.
Oh, wow.
I'm also a school governor on the side, where I specialise in...
I do this.
I do this. Listen, I've got many credentials anyways. So I'm a school governor where I specialise in governance training, GDPR and computing. And also I'm a mentor. So I help people get into jobs. Any sector, any person, any age, I help them get into jobs.
Oh, y'all hear that? Brokies. Holla. No, I'm joking, not brokies. Okay, well, thank you for being on my show today. So obviously... you told me you've got a story. I kind of know little bits of it, and obviously I was already shocked. And I was so grateful when you said that you didn't mind sharing it, because I felt like what you were telling me is so important, because this generation, we're living in a crazy time. So today's angle is kind of coming from the toxic relationships, the whole toxic, basically an unhealthy relationship, but it's so normalized in today's society. So I felt like, yeah, that's definitely something that I would love to speak about. So yeah, so I don't know where you want to start. Like,
where do I even start? Like, okay,
tell us your story.
Okay, so when I was 16, I was in a relationship, and in this relationship, I didn't realize how toxic it was until I came out of the relationship. So the relationship was toxic in many ways. It was toxic physically, mentally, emotionally.
And this started when you were 16.
This was when I was 16, and it went on. We were on and off till I was about 22. So
wow, that's a good
long
6
time.
years.
But when I mean on and off, I mean like we wouldn't talk for like a year. Like he'll do his thing, I'll do my thing. But we still.
It's crazy you still had that bond of always kind of going back.
Coming back and forth, literally. So yeah, so you can imagine since year 11.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's a long time. So yeah, this relationship, I just feel like I when I think to myself, I think, why were you still in this? Like, if I could go back to my 16-year-old self, I would say don't even entertain it from the get-go. Just don't do it. But I'm here now, and I'm here to tell the story. So it started like we were good, like we were like best friends. Do you know what I mean? Like it was just like I felt like I couldn't get anyone better. I just felt like this is the one for me. Like,
and you're young as well.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
And that was like the first person I actually loved. So firstly, it started with like I said, it started good, but then abuse started coming in, and I'm talking like physical abuse. So the first incident that I can think of was when basically he cheated, but he acted as if he didn't cheat, and acted as if he didn't cheat, but I spoke to the girl and I got the story from her, and it was kind of like he did. It was like he was lying so much about the incident that I didn't know who was really telling the truth. I didn't know if it was him, I didn't know if it was her. But from what I could see, it's like I was never going to get to the bottom of it. So I kind of just left that situation to the side, parked it to the side and whatnot. Even like our mutual friend got involved, and he was like, Jennifer, it's either your man is a very good liar or the girl is just crazy. Like even he didn't know who to believe. And it's not even like he slept with her. Like it was a cheating situation where it's like, when they're talking verbally, the things that I said, like you don't do that when you've got a girlfriend. So anyways, coincidentally, I ended up going to college with the girl, and then she was actually cool. Like me and her got on, and then one day in college, we must have been all taking photos, and then she jumped into my photo. It wasn't even like we planned it. She jumped into my photo. Anyways, back in the days, Facebook, you get tagged in all these photos.
It's rough them days.
Exactly, very rough.
Shameless.
Literally. So my ex sees that I get tagged in this photo, and he sees the girl, and he's just like...
Oh, he took it like he's taking a piss. Like.
And I innocently just went to his house, like, on that day as well. And then we were all good. And I remember, specifically, we were sitting on the stairs. I don't know why we were sitting on the stairs. We're sitting on the stairs, and then he was just like, so you took a picture of a girl that tried to ruin our relationship? And I was just like, no, like she was just in the picture just jumped in. It wasn't that deep. He was like, so you took a picture of the girl that's trying to ruin our relationship? And I was just like, no. Like, I kept saying no, but he kept perpetuating the situation. And I was like, no. He didn't care. It's like he weren't listening to what I was saying. And then he started punching my arm. And then as he's punching my arm is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. It's getting swollen. And I'm thinking, and
what was going through your mind?
Listen, Jackie, the demonic face on that guy, his face was just like, it's like he was smiling, but then he was like really angry at the same time. Because I thought it was like a joke, but then he was getting really angry. So he tried to take a picture of that girl that tried to break us up, blah, blah, blah. So my arm just became swollen. I was so upset because he never put his hands on me. But that was just the start of
the madness, really.
That was just the start of an era, literally. So that happened, and then I was not gonna stand for that. So I actually split up with him after that. But because we had so many mutuals, he was getting people to call my phone. He was calling my phone on private number, saying how sorry he was. That was something that he was good at. Like, he will do something, but then he will make it up to you.
You know what's mad? That's really like, in my job, we have like the cycle of abuse, and it tends to be like, everything is fine, then something happens, and then it's like, whether it's physical, like an explosion happens, and obviously the girl will be like, or in this situation, like you, obviously you take yourself out of the situation, and then all the apologies start, the sweetness, other people try to help, this, that, everything. And I'm guessing you forgave him, and then it just becomes a cycle. But it
became a cycle. He was doing everything he could to be a good boyfriend, picking me up from wherever I went, dropping me home, making sure I'm safe. He was doing everything to be a good boyfriend and whatnot, but literally that was just start of just the madness of the whole relationship. So that was when he first put his hands on me, and then an incident not too long after, he actually pushed me down the stairs and threw my heels at me as well. And I was just like, wow. Like, I think sometimes I was still trying to convince myself that he's gonna change, like he ain't gonna be like this for long, like he'll get better.
Yeah, because often, like, sorry to cut you off, so because often, like, people are in relationships and it's quite toxic, and people, like, I was very fast before I obviously started understanding stuff from different people's perspective. I used to look at relationship and be like, why would you stay in that relationship? Like,
that's what I'm saying.
Do you get what I mean? So I always wonder why you're staying, but obviously you've got that whole factor of, I hope he changes, he loves me, la 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 la. So,
and because this relationship was so toxic, what I can say genuinely from my personal point of view, I feel like people stay in toxic relationships because of the sex.
Really?
Literally, I think it's because of the sex, and I think it's because of the whole ups and downs of the relationship. I feel like
when
it's
good,
like a roller
it's
coaster, and when it's bad, but you still want to stay on that ride. That's how I feel like toxic relationships are. And yeah,
how you felt for
definitely how I felt for my relationship, and definitely from other people's points of view. Like, I feel like even when I was that age and when I was around that time, I feel like a couple of my friends were in them kind of relationships as well.
Right. So it was like normal.
It was normal.
And it still is, to be fair. It still is. Obviously, you've grown out. I'm thinking about like the younger generation. I feel like they find it normal to accept
it's
stuff.
So normal. Like, literally, like, the things that my girls were going through, we were going through the same thing. Like, even I met up with one of my girls the other day, and we were like, I can't believe we were actually in them kind of relationships.
That's mad,
the kind of woman we've grown to be, you would never think we were like that. And the way people know me, like, I'm like quite out there, like quite loud in terms of like, I don't take nothing.
Yeah, but how did
how did I take that? Do you know what I mean? So that's what I do not accept about the whole situation, that I actually stood for that. And at the same time, I hate that I did, but at the same time, I feel like I'm older now and I'm more mature, and I'm here to tell a story. And if I see those signs as well in someone else, I wouldn't have it. I wouldn't have it at all. So that's something that I feel like, yeah, fair enough, I went through it, but I'm kind of glad I went through it, because I feel like in life, everything happens for a reason.
Okay. It's like a lesson.
Definitely was a lesson learned.
But go back to the stairs situation,
so the
because
stairs,
how the hell? What?
Literally, and Jackie, our arguments would be so petty. Like, it was such a petty argument. Like, I can't even remember. That's how bad it was. It was so petty. And the guy, and literally, I had come back from a night out, and then I went to go and stay at his house. That's what I'll do, like, most times. Went to go and stay at his house, and his mum wouldn't always be there, so it's not like she would see any of this happening. Came back from a night out. I don't know if things got heated or whatever. The guy tried to kick me, not even tried, pushed me down the stairs, kicked me down the stairs. Then literally got my heels, threw it at me, and he's
That was that.
literally
Like,
that was that.
Not even like.
But it was what she did that, and after again begging for forgiveness, he's sorry, he didn't mean to do that. Like, so literally, he begged for forgiveness as usual, and I stayed and whatnot. That was just
That's
one
sickening, you know. That's actually a narcissist. That's actually, because how can you do that? And I feel like this is how I'm taking it in. I feel like he knew you wasn't gonna go anywhere anyway, because you couldn't go nowhere.
Yeah,
so
it was so like, do you know what it is? Yeah, when I think about it now, it's like I could have got cab, I could have done anything, but I still stayed with that waste man. Like, that's honestly how I think of it, literally. So, okay, so that happened, and then another event that happened was basically I was at his house again, and he's got like a big house, yeah. So he's got like 3 floors. So his room was all the way at the top, and then something petty happened again. I can't remember. Like, that's what I'm saying. The arguments were so petty.
Nothing to even.
But
really...
one thing though, when it came to the arguments, a lot of it was based around him actually seeing like me getting attention from other guys.
Okay.
And he hated that. Like, he hated that. And it's not like I'm putting myself out there to get this attention. It's just he hates other guys looking at me.
So he's possessive in a way, like
very possessive. Yeah, like,
thing.
And I don't understand why, because wouldn't you like that you've got an attractive girl, like people are looking at her, but you know only you can have her. Like, you would think, oh, he wouldn't think that deep about it, but it was such a thing to him. Like, if he sees guys looking at me, if he sees a guy trying to talk to me, it would become a big issue. A big issue. So that was a lot of the issues around.
But that's quite cheeky though, because she said like obviously one of the first incidents or things that happened was because he was cheating or whatever. So clearly he was chatting to girls, whatever. But you can't. Obviously, I'm not encouraging cheating, whatever. But I'm saying, but if you not even speak to someone, everybody's dying. Like,
exactly, and that's what it was with us. Like, and it's because as well, our friendship groups kind of intertwined, because you know when you're going out with someone, you start becoming friendly with their friends and they're friendly with your friends. So like, we kind of all knew each other, we'd all chill together. Even if he saw his boys talking to me, it's an issue. Like, he doesn't want no one talking to me, doesn't want no one next to me.
It's kind of sounds like he didn't trust you then.
But there was nothing not to trust me on. That's what I'm saying. I didn't do anything to not make him trust me. And I feel like he was very insecure. But the thing is, I've noticed with some people, no matter how much assurance you give them, they are never going to leave them insecurities behind. They will always just come with them insecurities. Do
you feel like it might be like a deflecting situation because he was maybe doing stuff and he thought, okay, she could be doing stuff? I don't know.
I don't know, because with him, God knows when he was doing all them things. I don't know. I know that he definitely wasn't 100% faithful, but I just feel like he just didn't like me being around anyone else but him. Like, it's
so
like,
do you feel like he was kind of walking on eggshells? Like, if you...
100%.
And that's not good. Like, I feel like often loads of people actually, like you said, loads of people are in a relationship and like they change themselves because, okay, yeah, my man doesn't like that, or vice versa, my girl doesn't like that. You know, it happens. But
and that's what it was like with me, because he had such a temper. It's like, I don't want to bring that out of him. So it's like, I can't even be me. Like, I'm unapologetically me. Like, I say whatever I want to say. With him, I couldn't even be like that. And I can't even have friends in my life that I can't be me and say what I need to say. So can you imagine me actually being in a relationship with someone and I can't really be me all the time? Yeah, sometimes cool, but other times it's like anything can trigger his anger. So it's like, let me just leave that.
So can I ask about, like, obviously right now you said that you're over it, like you're good, this is that. But at that time, what was your like mental state at? Because obviously you was good, but you wasn't good, because at the end of the day, like, you've been physically abused, verbally, I'm guessing. Like, he was pretty much walking in eggshells. So how did you process all of that in your mind for yourself? Like, when you got home and you just went through all of that, you just keep it pushing, or did you actually ever think about it? Or
I think I was so used to it.
That's crazy.
I was so used to it. It was the norm. Like, it was literally normal. And it's like, okay, the lows. This is why I wouldn't want to be in that kind of relationship again. It's because the lows as well. Like, fair enough, you've got the highs. You get the highs in any relationship, but the lows are low. Like, literally, you feel so low. Like, there'll be times when I can't even bother to like go out with my friends because he's pissed me off.
Really?
Like he's got me that
literally-
moody. Like I don't even want to come out. I don't want to talk to no one because he's got me that angry. And there's no way in hell that anyone should be controlling your mood.
emotions. Yeah,
Like,
it's true.
so I just knew that when it was getting to that, it just became a thing where it wasn't worth it.
So you said obviously you guys broke up, like it was on and off, and it was a time that it was like off for like a year or so. So how did you come back on after a year? I'm just wondering because you already you broke up. I'm guessing because enough was enough, but it clearly wasn't enough because you went back.
Wasn't. Like the thing is,
and you was getting older.
Yeah, I was getting older.
So
it will always be him.
Really,
it will always be him. He'll get. Sometimes we had a mutual friend that was really his friend but became my friend. He would be like, oh, have you spoken to so-and-so? And I'll be like, no. It was literally the same scene every single time. Have you spoken to so-and-so? No. Oh, I think you should talk to him, you know. Why? I just think you should talk to him. Then all of a sudden, boom, my ex is messaging me. Oh, what's going on? How you been? And then even one time he was actually in a relationship and he was still telling me that I'm the love of his life, blah, blah, blah. So
obviously that made you kind of a little bit.
It's not that it gassed me up. I feel like it was kind of expected because of how much we went through and how our relationship was. I kind of felt that I was the only one for him at them times anyway. I didn't really care about his exes or his girlfriends. Like
because you felt you was confident within yourself
literally,
that he loves me.
In the relationship, and I was confident that he still loved me no matter what. So yeah, we just ended up being on and off again. But another situation that happened was when obviously we were in his house and he's got a big house. I'm walking down the stairs. I think I've got all the way to the end, but he's calling me all these different names. And that was actually because of guys. He didn't like the fact that guys were talking to me. I think he saw something on my phone, but it's not like I was entertaining this guy. Literally Facebook chat days or whatever, like probably sending me a photo because I was tagged in a rave or something. It was so innocent. He's seen that now, hasn't even looked into it. Literally is calling me every name under the sun because he's seen a guy message my phone, calling me a whore, calling me a bitch, calling me everything, anything you can think of. And I just got so fed up. When I was hearing that, I literally just ran up all the way up the stairs and I just started fighting him, literally. And that was the first time I actually put my hands on him because before I wasn't really doing that, but I just reached my point where I'm like, you're actually not going to keep mugging me off and thinking that you can get away with that because that's not me. How am I allowing a guy to do this to me? Like, that's not me. So from there, that is where the fights just started. Like, fighting was just a norm in our relationship.
So you guys started like literally
always
fighting?
physically fighting all the time. Like, over the littlest thing, we'll get into that.
You guys were fighting, big man, big woman, just back and forth. And did he even think that was okay to be fighting? Don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to be like, but clearly, you know, in this environment, men shouldn't even be touching women. Yeah. That's just how it is. And vice versa. But my point is, so he was fighting you.
He didn't care that I was a woman. He didn't care. It's like him fighting a guy. He did not care. He used to rock like it's nothing.
You stop fighting, what happens?
Stop fighting, keeps begging me again. Literally.
I'm not even trying to laugh, but what the hell?
It's like a cycle. Literally, he will fight, he'll beg me again. We'll be like, we're too toxic for each other. We'll actually say we're too toxic, we need to end. It never ended. It never ended. It literally kept going to a point where there was a time when I was at my friend's mum's funeral, and back in them days, my little treat to myself every day would be get fake nails. So I used to get fake nails like every 2 weeks or whatever. Then must have come to my friend's mum's funeral, and then my nails were like broken, literally broken because of how much me and him used to fight. So they're just broken. And then my friend was like, Jennifer, like, what happened to your nails? And then me and her just gave each other that look. We just knew.
She knew.
She just knew. Yeah. And then she just looked at me like why? So much, yeah. Like, why? Just leave it, like, kind of thing. We just gave each other that. Like, we didn't even need to say anything. She just knew exactly what it was. So I think from there I was just like, nah. I think that's when I really started realizing this relationship is not worth it. Like, he just did too much. The fighting, like, it's not normal. Like, you shouldn't be.
You started acknowledging, this is not me, this is too much.
This is not right. I couldn't even do my nails no more. I literally stopped doing my nails, like my little treat to myself. I stopped doing fake nails because I knew that I had fights with him so much, yeah, that there was no point of doing nails. They're just gonna break, literally. So why should you stop doing something that you enjoy? Like that's
because
like
you're
your
preparing
necessity.
for something mentally
Because
already.
you're preparing for the worst, and that's what it was. So the fact that that happened, and also I feel like I just started to realize my worth. Like,
that's good.
This guy is not worth it. You can do better. I genuinely thought I couldn't do better than him, and I just started seeing things like, you can do better than him. What are you actually doing? And then even when we like split up, so many things happened after that as well, because it just didn't stop there. Nothing stopped there. It was still the same issues.
But you wasn't even together anymore.
We weren't even together. But I think what needs to happen now, like if you split up with someone, I think you need to go cold turkey and not talk to that person.
Because that period of like, you're not together, but it's
you're
still, yeah, I get you.
So we were still talking, but not together. And then he caught wind that I was trying to move on, basically. That
was like a no-go for him.
That was just... So when he found out, like, I was going to meet someone, like, actually physically go and meet someone, he called my phone and was like, why are you going to meet so-and-so? You're a hoe. What do you want to meet him for? Are you going to fuck him? Blah, 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 blah. Like,
even if you are, what's your business?
He was going so mad. He was like, you're banned from his area.
Man said banned.
Exactly. And his area is an area where you need to always go to. Like, literally, it's got everything. Yeah. So he's like, you're banned from don't come here.
Who is he, the mayor of London?
Listen, imagine I saw him in that area, like, probably like not that long after. And the guy came up to me. He was on a bike and he came so aggressively. He's like, what are you doing here? What are you doing here? I told you, you can't be here. He's like, I told you you cannot be here. What are you doing? The guy spat at me, but missed.
Cut. We out. What the hell?
Literally.
I'm mad. I'm actually big mad.
He
missed. We thank God, but that's disgusting.
He actually did that. Like, he saw me another time in the area from the other side.
So you was actually banned for real. Like, I'm so sorry. This is not funny, guys. I am not even laughing, but
it's just...
I'm laughing at the madness. I'm laughing at the madness.
Because when you think about it...
I'm so sorry. The fact that he
was... Man said if it's still the area, he was patrolling the edge for you, you know.
It's like, how do you even know I'm there?
Did you have a tracker?
He had a tracker.
Nah, I'm so big mad. I don't even mean to, I'm not laughing at the situation because it's mad, but I'm imagining it that a man's pulling up every single time.
Like, he pulled up on a pushback.
It's
a pushback.
So my guy actually came on a bike, and I don't know how he knew I was around. Like, there was another time when I'm walking, I'm minding my own business.
So she was banned.
So I was still in the another time I was in the area, and all I hear is this person yelling abuse from like the other side of the road, and I look and it's him again. It's like, how do you know that I'm in this area?
That's actually mad. I feel like if he was actually just not pulling off of you, but like he just knew, and maybe people was like watching you. I don't know. Obviously, I don't know, but for him to know every time, he was flipping watching you. I don't know, but that's just.
But for me to come from all the way where I lived all the way in Haroldwood in Essex. So for me to come from all the way down there, and then you're seeing where I am, and it's like a problem when I'm in the area. It's just, it was just so weird. Like, and even though we were over, obviously I think them times we probably were over, but there'll be another time where, okay, we're kind of talking. But the times when he banned me, we weren't talking at all. Like, he was angry at the fact that I'd moved on, and that I was trying to see someone else. He just hated that. There was another time, this one was actually mad because it was in our mutual friend. She was having a birthday. And I had spoken to him not long before the birthday thing happened. Literally, I'm on the stairs and I'm talking to my friend, that's a guy. Why did my ex, start running up the stairs with a bottle to bottle me?
No. I want to understand what his problem. Like, what?
Because he sees me talking to a guy, and
But
you
you
know,
wasn't together.
we went together. It's because I was still slightly like we'd spoken not long before,
Okay.
but still I'm
regardless,
talking
that's
to
not
my
normal
friend.
behavior. Regardless,
This is
even
what
if
I'm
he was
saying.
pissed off, maybe text like, "Oh, it's like you, yeah." Them ones like
No.
a
The guy
bottle.
came with a Hennessy bottle, ran up the stairs, was about to bottle me. Luckily, my friend that I was talking to, the guy, literally just grabbed him, and then them two started like going back and forth. So that my friend grabbed my ex down the stairs, then them two were like at it, and then they got separated. Then one of my girls, literally, I don't know where she came from, she literally pulled me upstairs, and then they all pulled my ex downstairs. They pulled him out of the house. But as I'm upstairs, I'm looking out of the window and I'm seeing him just trying to fight past everyone to try and get to me upstairs.
Yeah, no.
It was literally obsessive behaviour. And it was like, you can't talk to no one else. You need me and that's it. Even when we split up and I'm not talking to you, like, it's still an issue.
So when you can like, so obviously you moved on at some point, and that must like when you got a relationship. Because I remember when I met you, you was kind of like in a relationship with someone else.
Yeah.
Or you're going into one, or
Yeah,
I can't remember.
I think I was.
Or there was a time, but
Yeah.
how did you feel about that? Because like you guys were serious, like.
Okay, even
Like,
with that,
we knew him kind of thing.
exactly.
Yeah.
So even with that, he obviously, I don't know who
Must have
told
been
him.
hard for him.
Exactly. I don't know
Maybe.
who told him because it was not that long after him. I don't know who told him that I had a new boyfriend and stuff. But even with that, he came, sent me one long message. Yeah, just talking about how have I moved on, like he can never attend that wedding. He never wants to be invited to that wedding, as if to say he was going to be invited anyway.
Men are mad. I'm
And
so sorry to say.
and that
women
he's
are
burning.
too, but men are mad.
But that one was just on another level of madness. Like he just burned. Like he sent me a long message just saying he's burning. That he just, that was it. Like there was nothing more he could say really, because I was never going to get back with him, and I never have since.
Okay, so that was literally. So do you feel like when you got into your relationship, like your new relationship at that time, did you feel the difference in terms of how you was meant to be treated? Like obviously, 100%. I know every relationship had ups and downs, but obviously you came out something really toxic. Did you feel the difference? And
there was a big difference, and I feel like even me, because I was used to being so toxic and in a toxic relationship, I feel like I brought some of them ways into my new relationship, and you're used to the thrive of it, you're used to the thrill of it. I feel like I brought that in, but my ex was just like, obviously like the person that I got with after, he was not into none of that. He's not for toxic relationships.
Which is
he
good.
weren't for it at all. So it was just me kind of adjusting to that, because like I said, being in a toxic relationship is like a roller coaster. Like when it's high, when it's low, it's low. You're used to it, and it's kind of like,
so you was
exciting.
Kind of being confused when
it was
kind of like this calm.
It was so calm. Happening. It was such a calm vibe. But at the time when I was in that toxic relationship, it was exciting to me. As bad as it was exciting as well. So it's like,
that's really
maybe
weird,
I'm trying to start drama in my new one.
I was just saying that. Obviously now you've grown and you saw that it was bad a lot. But I'm literally, as you're speaking, I'm trying to see the excitement. Do you get what I mean? Yeah. Like, because you was in it. I don't know, it's weird.
I think everyone's different. I feel like, say I was to tell this story to someone else, they would love it. They love it. Like literally, my girls at the time were just like, yeah, it's normal. Like we've all grown now.
I know that it's normal because I see loads of people going through it at the moment, and I feel like, that's even a question I want to ask you. How do you feel about, because obviously now you've gone through it, and you've grown now, but like if you look on Twitter or just in general social media, all this toxic stuff like, people cheating, this, that, and you still accept him back, or come back home, but it's like it's really promoted, and it's really like people think it's like they want us to be brainwashed and just accept that, but it's like it's actually
not
cool.
Right. It's not okay.
But this generation is really like, just accept it. It's got 10 baby moms, or vice versa. I don't know. She's got different baby dads, got the main thing, the side thing, but all of that is mad.
It's mad. I mean? It's like, I've got nieces that look up to me, and there's no way that I ever want them to think that being in that kind of relationship is okay and it's normal, because it's not. It's not at all. And I had to come out of it for me to realize it's not right. Because when I started my new relationship, I still kind of thought like, it wasn't right, but I was still like in two minds about it. think as years went on, that's when I was like, nah, that was completely wrong. I knew when I took myself out of the situation that I knew I was better than that, but I still thought like our relationships, they all go through them kind of ups and downs, but those were severe ups and downs.
Because I do feel like this is even something I ask myself sometimes when it comes to relationships. Do I have to endure certain hardships, like the whole cheating or this and that? I'm not saying that I would, but like sometimes you question yourself, because that's what you see people do all the time. And it's like, do I have to push through kind of thing just to get to like the good stuff?
Even like the rappers, that's all they say. Like their baby
like,
mums were there from the time.
And it's just like, shut the heck up. Because you're promoting that and people have normalised it now. And it's just like,
I don't feel like you need to be with anyone that's cheating on you at all. Like obviously with my ex, there was never any proof apart from that girl. But
and it's not necessarily cheating, even just the behaviour, like just like obviously like you've literally been through it all, whether it's physical, whether it's just verbal, the psychological, like a lot of what you described was gaslighting as well.
Gaslighting big time.
Like the whole
gaslighting.
Like he didn't know whether he was lying or she was lying.
Exactly,
so
and it's like he will make you believe that what he is saying is the truth. That's one thing that he used to do a lot. Like say we argue, he will make it so much about him. Even though you know you're right, he will make it so much about him that he's right. That it's like you just kind of just back off kind of thing, because you don't want his anger to come out and you don't want a temper to come out. So you're just like, oh, whatever. You kind of just let it go. And he was the biggest gaslighter. Literally, when it comes to them kind of things, he was like pro in it.
And yeah, you said that obviously some of your friends knew, or most of your friends knew. So at least you spoke about it. But I feel like the only bad thing about that was because it was so normalised. It's not like anyone sat you down and said, okay, your friend at some point was like, enough is enough. So that was good.
Definitely.
But
at the time,
because it was kind of
I feel like even sometimes they probably won't even know everything that's going on as well. Because it's like, even with relationships now, I'm so private with who I'm with and whatnot. I don't even want people to know. So I feel like they might not even have known everything of what, like everything of, like even like my friend's mum's funeral, like she would have never known if she didn't look at my nails. So she would have never known that we just had a fight like the day before. So there was things that I wouldn't say, but
why do you feel like he did? I'm not saying that everyone's different in it, because like you're a private person regardless, but there was times that like when you was thrown off the stairs or kicked off the stairs, like would you not want to talk to someone? Like, because you said like obviously you stayed there, but that's what I was trying to ask about your mental state. Like, how did you deal with a lot of that yourself?
You know what? Mentally, I was fine, like, because I just feel like I was so used to it. Mentally, I was actually fine. It was just a norm for us to be going through all these fights. Do you know what? We actually had a mutual friend that was a girl. She knew everything about us too, but because she was so in the middle,
she really knew to speak on it.
Exactly, and she felt like we were good for each other, but we were bad for each other at the same time. But it's like she was so used to the narrative as well, so she didn't really have nothing to say either. But my girls at the time, like, I feel like when we talk about these things now,
he started when he was quite young. That's crazy.
And I feel like none of us would accept that now.
That's good. So what would you, because you kind of already said that obviously your nieces, they look up to you, wouldn't want them to ever go through that. So but what would you advise someone that's possibly going through the up and down relationship, or if you were still you mentioned, if you're speaking to your 16-year-old self going to 22, what would you advise yourself? Or if you can see the red flags or it possibly happening, because I feel like that's the issue as well. I can even speak to myself. When you see red flags, sometimes you ignore it and you wonder, oh, hopefully he changes. But
no, I feel like when you're seeing these signs, just leave, because it's 99.9% how the person is, and it's within their personality. And it also comes down to morals as well.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. That's another thing I was going to say. Sometimes they behave like that because maybe they've seen it or they've got it from their environment, but regardless, it doesn't justify them treating people the same way. So.
Exactly, because you think, like with him, I thought, oh, he's going to change. He never changed. He literally never changed. Yeah, he got better, but it's still within him. You never know when that side is going to come out again. And that's why I could never do it. I could have just never gone back there, because I do not know what I'm going to expect. And I'm so past that as well. There's no way I'm going back into a relationship like that. So I just feel like what I would advise people to do, and one thing as well actually, is when a guy puts their hands on you, just finish that relationship there. I don't care what no one says. I'm not standing for that again. Like, someone puts their hands on me, that's it, I'm gone. Because I'm telling you, like I said, it will continue. There's only probably a few people that they can do that once and then that's it, they won't do it again. But me personally, put your hands on me, I'm gone. So that's one thing I would have done. When I left him, when he first put his hands on me, I should have just left. And that was it. And I should have never gone back. But at the same time, the whole relationship, it just gave me so much like awareness. And I got so much self-awareness out of that, self-love from that as well. Like, I know my worth. There's no way a guy could ever try that nonsense with me again. So yeah, as I said, in life, everything happens for a reason. And that was the reason. That was the purpose, that kind of relationship. Because I can now tell my story and I can now know those kind of signs. If I see those kind of signs, I'm not going any further with you at all. I'm not putting myself in
I love that
place.
because I feel like this was definitely, I really hope that this speaks to people in terms of our generation, especially because we tend to, not everybody, but people tend to accept things that they shouldn't whatsoever, and knowing our values and knowing, you know, knowing that we should love ourselves, that we're worth it, like you said, is so important. So yeah, no, I actually love this episode for myself because it hit home, writing down notes.
I know.
So, you know,
and you would have never known.
No, like even like when you said, oh yeah, I've got something, I was like,
when did this happen?
when? How?
I know.
And it's actually, I knew you at some of that time.
You would have known me at that time.
So,
yeah,
some
you
of
did.
it,
You
like,
did.
do
You
you
did.
know what I mean? And I could never, obviously, at the end of the day, like, yeah, you're my sister's best friend, but still, like when I look at you, I wouldn't know that you
would never think that.
Went through all of that. So thank you for sharing that. Honestly, I really appreciate it. And also, I got my little thank you present.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're so cute. Thank
But
you.
honestly, I really appreciate you sharing your story with us. Is there anything you would like to say to round it on?
Yeah, I would just say look out for the signs and don't put yourself in that kind of situation. When you see those kind of red flags, pick up on that red flag and just keep it moving, like, because it's most likely that that person is not going to change. So yeah.
Well, thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of GDF Diaries. The season will actually be ending soon. We've got a few more coming for you guys. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. Thank you. Bye.
And cut.
Yes!
Amazing.
I loved it.